Hello, friends. Welcome to A Little Room for Healing, where we aim to create a little more room in the world for authentic connection, insightful healing, and a deeper understanding of our hearts, ourselves, and each other through honest conversation. My name is Joel. I'm a Reiki and 13th Octave Laho Chi practitioner, a facilitator for deep healing, and your host. Robin Kidder returns to the podcast. Robin is a medicine guide serving as a divine mirror and pattern worker, awakening people to the truth of their power. This is the second episode of our journey with Father. Today we begin integrating the experience we had together. It is the day after, and emotions are still high as we talk about what we felt and moved for the first time. I'm excited to share this powerful moment in my healing journey. What happened was unexpected and beautiful. After we recount the events of the day, we delve into a conversation about the collective regarding religion and how it is used to keep us small. As usual, we start with check-ins so we can be more attuned with each other. Come on in. Hello, Robin.
Hey, Joel.
I was thinking of saying welcome back, which there is a welcome back to the actual podcast, but we've been together for over 24 hours now. Mm-hmm. So welcome back to the podcast. It's been nice to spend a day with you that we are going to talk about today. Mm-hmm. We are back from our Wachuma journey, San Pedro journey, and today we're going to talk about it, integrate it together. So let's do some check-ins. You want to go first?
Sure. I still feel like I'm on the journey. That's a feeling that I have, like something. So I feel like this is kind of just flowing as a part of it, and that the wave that we've been on feels like it's kind of carrying me. So I'm in it, and I feel really present. Happy to be here.
Cool. Thanks for that check-in. Mm-hmm. I also feel like it's in me a little bit. I'm tired. It was a late night for me. I was up till 2. You went to bed around 11. Did you fall asleep right away?
Pretty shortly.
Like 10:30.
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Maybe 11. I was
wow.
11:30 maybe to sleep.
Yeah, I was up tossing and turning for a while. And right now I'm feeling like raw. There's like excitement in me. There's a lot going on that I'm having a hard time even expressing in the check-in, but I guess that's why we're going to begin our integration process to try to untangle and hold and put in. Hard time talking. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So I don't know what else to say about my check-in. I just want to get into it. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. How do we start?
Well, I thought maybe one thing that I thought about was we could say like, oh, well, we were planning to do this later, but like why we feel like it's a good idea to do it now.
Yeah, you want to do that?
If you want me to, sure. I don't know. I just woke up and felt like, as per usual, like the next day, there's always like so much fresh, and this strong desire to like start the integration together. And that happened this morning, and then I thought like, oh, but we're doing the podcast together, and if we do this now, this sort of where it's fresh and raw and real, it's gonna sort of be like a facsimile maybe or like we're gonna miss some of the. I don't know. It's kind of both. It's like we'll get something else if we did it later, but there's something right now that feels really potent and real, and I thought it'd be kind of interesting to bring that and see how it feels to share that.
Yeah.
With the understanding that if it felt like it wasn't something we wanted to share, that we didn't have to. And that feels really safe to me.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We were going to do it. We were going to wait a few days. And per Robin's inspiration, we're not waiting any days.
Do you still feel good about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just like, I'm looking forward to getting into it because that's going to energize me. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It was a big day. It was a really big day.
I also think since this is a continuation of last week, we should say and sort of set up how we, I mean, we're going to do that, but how we didn't end up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I can word it. I'm really kind of loopy right now. Yeah, one of the beautiful things about the way that it unfolded yesterday when we got together and we were prepping to drink the medicine is that the energy was different than what we expected it. This was my sense. We had an idea of coming in and me holding space for you, mostly. And when you walked in the house, I was like, I was in a place. Yeah. and then you even said, I think that on your way here, on your way to meeting me, you were like, I was getting a download that I'm supposed to hold space for you. Is that what happened? That's what happened, right?
Well, when I was driving, I just got what I was tapping into was like just feeling so in such a good place. Like I'm like, I feel there was a way where I was like, I don't know if I even want to put anything into my system right now because I just feel so like so expansive and unfolding in this moment. It's like, which actually is a beautiful place to go into medicine, but this is something that happens a lot actually to me. Is I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't need to do it. I think it's maybe a little trick of my, just maybe the fear sort of manifesting in a way. Maybe doesn't even register as fear, but registers as I don't need this. So I don't know about that, but I shared that when I got here, and when I walked in the door, it was a little disheveled. You felt a little like just like there was stuff. There was stuff there, and I was like, whoa, okay. And so that was like around 9-ish in the morning.
Yeah.
That I arrived here. And that I feel like it was just so cool. Like we sat down and we started talking about where we were and did a check-in, and you talked about the doses that you had in mind for each of us, and what came through. I shared the thoughts I had, and I don't remember exactly how it came out that I felt really resourced and you felt less resourced. And so it just was like, okay, well, what feels true to me? And we even talked about me not taking medicine and you taking medicine, and I was like, eh. And you were like, or you could just take a facilitator's dose. Try that. And you were going to take a higher dose, and it just was like, yes, that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it came to be, that you had a deeper journey and went deeper into the medicine, but I felt like I was right there with you.
Yeah, Yeah, you were. It looked to me like you were having quite a journey yourself.
Yeah.
When we were talking, we sat down, and we were. I was just started sharing like what was going on with me and how I've been having this anxiety and panic and like the beginnings of panic attacks were starting and how I haven't been sleeping well because of it, and like that's why I was like completely disheveled when you walked in and tight and closed and.
Yeah, there was fear. And then you started to share some of the stuff that you were feeling fear around.
And then we were gonna drink at 10:30, and we talked so much that we started intentions late. We actually drank at 11. And then when we did intentions, it was interesting because it felt like your intention from the last episode was like, I guess it was still in the air, but it wasn't the focus anymore. But mine for the last episode was still kind of similar. And then you brought in this other intention. Do you remember what it was? Yeah, can you say what in this intention I was like it landed with me so hard.
It was let's practice, or I'm going to practice embodying God frequency to be in the space of all timelines converging.
Did you say that?
I don't know if I used the word converging, but maybe. I mean, I said all timelines.
Because I don't remember you saying that.
But you've been using the word convergence.
Which is wild because of what happened. And then when I said, this is what happened, I didn't even register that you had said that earlier. Maybe it was just in my... Because the experience was exactly... Anyway.
It was exactly that.
Anyway, we don't want to
spoil what happened. I remember, so I was sitting over here and I just remember like, it just came through. It was like...
Wow.
And you were like, yeah. You're like, I'm feeling that. It was like you came alive in that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so then we set those intentions and then we drank and parted ways for like 2 hours, like an hour and a half. After an hour and a half, I actually was really feeling the medicine and I had to call you down. I was like, I could really use your help right now because I was starting to feel stuck. There was this energy in my chest that was just stuck and what did we talk about when you got down here? Like, I was like, I needed someone to walk in the room to just give it the space, a little bit more room for me to release this thing. And I just didn't have enough of my own space to do that at that moment. And
you called me down. Mm-hmm. I was upstairs journaling and then I fell asleep. And it was beautiful. I was like in this lucid dream state. And then I hear Joel and he's like, I could use some help down here. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I came downstairs and you were in here, like in your work already, like feeling it physical. And I was just like, okay. And then we were in.
Yeah.
And kind of like.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
From that moment on, we were like locked into each other.
Yeah.
For hours.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a long day.
It was like.
It was a long day.
1 to like 8. I think is when we decided to make dinner. 8:30.
Yeah.
Solid work in here.
Yeah. And I came in here and immediately you were like, what you said was, it's already starting to move. Like this thing wouldn't move. And then I came in and you're like, it's starting to move.
Yeah.
And you're like, I just needed a witness for this thing to move. Mm-hmm. And then you said, you started reflecting on that and wondering if you just wouldn't let it move without someone here. Mm-hmm. And that brought us into opening to talk about the idea of being our own container. And sort of exploring that. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
And it was cool to feel your system like let go a little bit, and then the thing moved.
It let go. This is an interesting thing about that moment. It let go a little bit. I was still actually kind of, even though I was crying, like tears were flowing and energy was moving, I was still holding back for some reason. Like for some reason, I was like, I'm still shy about like opening up fully in front of you.
That took a while. I feel like until like a couple hours later when I was like, does a sound need to come out? That was like the turning point. Wasn't it? Or did you recognize that?
When we were talking about that, the moment that I really cracked open for the first time of the day was when we were talking about the container that I was in that wasn't being held by anyone, and it was just a minefield of trigger and re-traumatizing, and it was supposed to be this facilitator learning how to facilitate group, and like people were just hurting each other, and I was seeing how I even hurt someone in that container, and I just cracked open and just cried about it, and I've been holding it in for 2 years, and then finally moved that thing that I was holding in. It just, and you were like, you said you just went through an initiation, like your heart just cracked open. That's what you said to me.
Yeah.
And then from then on, it just was like it was like moment after moment of like intense stuff happening. To the point, like, yeah, and you were like, does the sound want to come out? We can talk about that.
That was after?
That was after that.
Yeah, I guess that was after, because that was in the wave where you got to that place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the arc of the journey that I saw you in, that I felt like I was witnessing you in, and I was in there with you, but really it felt like you opened. I mean, I went into a little bit of my stuff early on, but it really felt like it was you were the focus of that bulk of the day.
I want to talk a little bit about how we got to that point, and this was, I think, so beautiful. One is, you were such an articulate mirror on showing me my power. The whole time, like out for like 2 hours leading up to that moment. Just it's like reflecting it back to me and like almost like you were like, I'm gonna shove this in you and you're gonna get it. Like it was nonstop. It was like the way that it was like the way San Pedro works. Just steady and slow, like you say, bulldozers. Steady and slowly just pushing the shit.
Not letting up.
Not letting up. It was just like bam and this and this, and I'm like, oh, she's like, can you feel it?
I felt you so receptive to it and able to take it all in. Like it didn't feel like you were ever overwhelmed by it. Did you experience overwhelmed?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what this was. I just did, but yeah, I was really receptive to it.
It was like you were meeting me right there and you were inviting it. And that's why it was coming like that. It was so fucking cool how comfortable you are with this medicine. And then like, for me, like, it was actually really easy. It was so easy because you were just like, I'm here for this. I know how to do this. I know how to move energy in my body. I can feel the thing that's stuck. And there's like a lot of resistance in here, but your ability to see it, like your consciousness of it, and then and to work with it. Like you don't just let it. Like the reflections I was giving were just to help you orient in the spots that were trying to stop you from doing the work that you know how to do. Like you know how to do it. And there's just little stories that are like putting brakes on what you know how to do. you have all of the answers in you. That was what came through so clearly. Like, it wasn't like I was giving you anything you didn't know. It was like the stuff you knew. There's just like these things that are like, they're like ridiculous. I could see all of the ridiculous little breaks on,
like little staticky energetic pockets that are like not letting the links go completely through.
The things that are like just the little things that compartmentalize your power and like separate it into like put this over here, and it was so fun.
It was fun.
It was so fun to like be able to like this medicine, like you call it a heart opener, and to me it kind of like maybe that's it feels like it really boosts willpower and makes resistance easier to move. Maybe that's true for all medicine, but I really felt it yesterday. I was just like, the resistance was really easy to like, and maybe that's just with you because you're so practiced with it, and it didn't like take you, we didn't have to deal with like you going into like a paranoia or like something taking you out of the primary thing, which is really how are you avoiding your own power? Does that land?
The primary thing was how I'm avoiding my own power.
I feel like that was what we were working with the whole
100%.
time. Like all the ways that you do that, and like
100%.
And then also holding the hurt around it, but like you're good at that. You know how to do that. Yeah, what's cool, it's like with you, it's just like connecting with things that are already there. It's just like, oh, just connect this to this and you're good. Like, boom. It's like a refinement.
That's fun.
It is fun.
It's fun.
Like that's like play. That is like, that's what I'm here for. So light.
It was like play. It's like this beautiful play with emotional releases. And like, speaking of that, one of the most beautiful things I love about working with you, and especially working with you yesterday, was how, and I said this to you yesterday too, I'm going to say it again, how you are in it with me, and it's so interesting. You seamlessly go, it's like something comes up for you while you're working with me, and it's like sometimes we hit these parallel wounds in us or blockages, and you would be saying things to me, and then you would just seamlessly move into like moving this pile of energy of your own and have this beautiful experience. And I couldn't even, it was like
you got to see the beauty of it, like reflected. It was like a reflection.
Yeah, and I was like watching it move, and I was like, oh, it's moving over there too. I was like, oh my god, that's moving stuff over here, you're moving stuff over there. I was like, we were just moving together. And then you would go on this little journey, and then you come right back in and be with me, and we pick up where we were. It was so much fun. I love that. I love that. Yeah. This is what you're talking about with showing people how you work. And that your mess is your medicine. And that you come in and you're with people and you're holding people. And then but you're bringing your shit too. And your shit is moving in the space and helping other people move their shit. And it's this really beautiful dance of holding and love and energy clearing and care and rawness and authenticity. It's really powerful shit. So much fun to do that with you.
Yeah. I really, really so deeply appreciated how much you see. Like, I think that my intention from when we did the podcast before was I want to come in and practice being seen. And the funny thing is, like, I could forget about that, but then I come in and, like, I'm reflecting, and it's like, oh, that's exactly what fucking happened. Was I was just here, and, like, nobody can really, like, you see, you were so reflecting exactly what you saw in me, like, throughout the entire experience. Like, I was right there with you, and you were, like, in such deep appreciation and gratitude and, like, reverence. And you were communicating that, you were articulating it in this way, like this Joel way, that is so deep. It's such deep medicine to receive your, and we talked about this many times, like the translations that you bring through, that come through. It's like when Joel sees something and says the thing, it just is. There's like this isness to it that is so... It's like I can know and appreciate my work all I want, and like be like, yeah, I know who I am, even if you don't know, even if you're projecting on me. Like, but when you say it, there's like it's like, I made a joke about it being like it's written on a tablet. It's like in stone now. It's true. It's so true when you say it, and it's like that. That's very also deeply empowering. And I want that for everybody.
Well, you were the wild thing is that you were reflecting that to me, like you were seeing me and showing me that as well.
We have such different ways of doing, like, of getting to sort of the same place. And I do you know what I mean?
Of helping people see themselves.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, I feel like we're such a good team in that way. Yeah, I love that. It feels like it's really funny. Sometimes I get the sense that I'm just like out. Life is just like, who are my other X-Men? Who's out here doing this weird thing with me? Like yesterday, I was like, we're so fucking weird. Like this is what we're doing on our Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was. So, this is what I'm saying. You were setting this groundwork of showing me my power, but not only showing it, but like in the way that it was coming to me, instilling it. Like in the way I was receiving it, I was able to like be like, oh my God, yeah, that really is in there. And then as I did that, it was like these stepping stones all day long. And then I had that crack open of my heart talking about that. And I cried so hard with that container that it was just horrible things were happening. It was scary. And then you were like, you just had initiation. Your heart just broke open. And then right after that, I think this is the way it went, this deep energetic sludge started moving through me. And it went like, you just stopped talking and just started witnessing. Yep. And I was just in this journey of moving this really intense energy through my body. And it was really thick. And then I got that done, and then my legs and lower half started shaking. And it was really intense for me. And all of a sudden, something shifted, and like it was like shift where it felt like the sludge was moving out, and then it was gone, and it felt like something came online in my body that had never been online before. And I was looking at it, oh, this is weird. This is really intense. What's happening? It's really hard to hold. I was like, I don't know how to hold this. And I didn't even know what was going. Did I say what it was? Did I say it feels like my root came online?
Yes.
My root chakra.
There's other stuff too.
Yeah, I'm. It's a little muddled.
Yeah.
But
that was like your. That was this hinge, in the whole thing.
Oh.
In the journey.
Uh-huh.
Like
in the whole
through.
journey? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
So did you see that too as the hinge?
When the root came online? Yeah, I see it. I see it now.
So when that started to happen, I was like, I just was like, I actually was partially, it was like I was very much in my own, moving it in myself, and like feeling, all of a sudden it was like we were just in energy moving zone where I was, you know, my story of it is usually like I feel what's going on in your body and my body, and I'm just like moving it in my body and in honor of, and then also like,
that's cool.
Maybe you're feeling what's in my, you know, like I don't know how it works, but it's the energy in the space. And we're like connected into it together. And so, but I almost go into this I'm not like paying attention to everything that's happening with you. I'm like it's like it's another realm.
The word trance is coming to my mind. I don't know why. Like you're going to a trance.
Yeah. But it was very quiet. I was very quiet. And then you were like, you were moving a lot for a while. And then at one point I was like, you're moving. I don't know what it was. I don't know why, but I was like, can you settle in that? And I think that's when it was like you were like, okay, can I? And it was like you started to work with it in a different way.
It was after the switch happened, and I was feeling really intense, like orgasmic energy. It was so much a whole, and then you prompted me to see if I could settle in that.
Yeah, and you were like, there was a like, can I do this? Like, I don't know, but I was like, you're doing it. You're fucking doing it. Like you're having a full body orgasmic experience, and it's not that comfortable at first. It's like, what is all this sensation? Was that before you said the root came on?
No, I think that was before. It was before. I think after I said that. That was
because
all
when
happening.
The root came online, no longer was it torture.
No, the sludge was like, it was like everything. I actually literally stopped moving. Like all that agonizing and like writhing was done, and the shaking, it just stopped, and then this feeling started going.
You said my root came online. I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, can you connect your root to your crown? And then I went to the bathroom, and then I came back, and then you had your like.
The thing happened.
You're like, I don't know.
This is what was beautiful.
What does that mean?
You said, can you connect your root with your crown? And I was lying down. I sat up. And I was like, okay, doing that. And then like the energy started getting really, really big. And then I was saying that there feels like I feel like I'm connected to myself. And like there's like a horse in the center of me. And it's so powerful, and it makes me feel so strong. You like asked me, what does it feel like? What does it bring? What are you getting from this horse? And I just started listing all these amazing things: safety, power, honor, strength, security, like, and many more were coming out. And it was like everything that's like the core of you, you know? And as I was doing that and really feeling this horse, I was like so connected to this inner part of me. And then the most amazing thing that's ever happened. It was so cool. And So cool. A year ago, I had this journey on Rue, and there was this white stallion that came to me, white stallion of truth that came to me, and this thing anointed me. It came up to me and said, "You are one who holds truth," and anointed my forehead, and it was like really intense moment, and I had been looking for my truth ever since then. Because I didn't know what that truth was. I was like, I'm holding truth? Like, that's really intense. That's a lot of responsibility. What is this truth that I'm holding? I don't know. And I was looking for it all year. And when I had this, a few weeks ago, I had this moment where I found the truth as I was, as the religious trauma story, as I released myself of it and it just dissolved out of my hands. My truth came to me finally. And the truth at that moment was, I matter. And then ever since then, I've been like integrating that. And then I'm connected to this horse center inside of me yesterday. And it was like, this is what, when I matter, this is the core of me that I can connect to when I like truly honor myself. And while that was happening, the white stallion of truth came in. I don't know where he came in, and he molded. It was just like, zoom, and he was the horse that is the center of me. And it all just blew my mind open. I was like, oh my God, the white stallion of truth was me. It was me coming to me telling me I have my truth and it's okay to fucking hold it and find it. And it was like all these timelines, all these storylines of my healing journey of my life just went into this one solid moment. And like, I almost exploded. It was so much energy. It was so powerful. I was like crying with joy. Yeah. I'm still crying with joy just thinking about it. It was the most powerful thing that's ever happened to me. Like totally being connected to myself. Totally, fully, 100% me in that moment. And in that was the experience of being fully connected to God. It was so cool. It was so cool. Like I can almost get there just talking about it again.
Yeah.
I can almost get there right now. I mean, I'm basically there. It's like not amplified by the medicine. I said that to you.
You were like, do you know what's happening right now?
I was like, I can't wait to tell you what's happening. And you were like, I have.
No, you asked me if I knew it was happening.
Did I?
You were like, do you know what's happening? You were like, is this for real? Yeah. Is this fucking for real? I was like, yep. It was like you made it to heaven.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Truly. Yeah. And then you said to me, I love this, and like it's gonna change everything. It's gonna change everything in my life. You're like, and that's what you're in service to. That feeling, that experience, that knowing, that power is what you're in service to. And it's not just you're in service to my own. It's now I'm in service to helping others get there too. It's so fucking beautiful. Literally the most intense experience I've ever had in my life. Like nothing compares to that. Like nothing. Oh, it was so cool. It was so cool.
Oh my god.
And I was so grateful for you. I was feeling so much gratitude for you. And like I even said to you, I was like, I can't even tell you how good it feels to have someone like you in my corner. Like the support and the love, and it's like I'm in there. It's like, and you're, it's like I just know you have me. If I'm on the other side of the world, I know you have me. There's so much love and support and like holding and this guidance that was happening. Like you and me and San Pedro were like all working together in this beautiful, just like, this is what is going on. This is where we're going. And like the way you were like, this is your power. And then you just had an initiation breakthrough. Your heart just cracked open. And then, oh, that was another huge thing.
And now this is what you're using that power to serve.
Yeah. But here was another big moment. Before that, in the midst of the, I don't know if I can hold this, you go, do you feel like there's a sound that wants to come out? And then I went like, I was like, and throwing up and groaning and yelling and for, I don't know, like at least 5, 6, 7 minutes. I don't know how long it was. It was.
Oh god, that felt so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to even describe how that could feel good, but it did. It was like, thank God.
There was a moment in it where the sound was just coming out of my mouth, and I was just looking at it. I was like, this is not stopping.
It kind of became
like,
comedy.
Yeah.
It became comedy. You were like, jokes over there. Like, do you see this?
You're like, I can't make it stop.
I know.
You did. You were
I was laughing. It was laugh. There was so much laughter. Oh my God, Joel. That became a part of it too. Like, I think that there's a way where I was trying to articulate this yesterday, but you have compartmentalized like your humor sometimes. Like, at least that's my perspective on it. Like you use it in these certain areas and then some area. I felt it yesterday. I felt the sort of infusion of this lightness, this light that now had space to come in. Like through the clearing of this like sludge in the heavy density, like this lightness comes in, and that actually is it's like such an important part of your medicine, like humor, your comedy, your ability to like. We talked about containment a lot and space a lot too, but like when you've moved that density out, then you have this space to like move away from the thing and to be able to see it as funny as like the cosmic joke of it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I really like. Had you ever had that experience before where you were in something so gnarly, such a gnarly purge, and you're like kind of laughing and making jokes about it? Like,
I actually have.
Okay, that's a thing. I hadn't seen that. I hadn't seen you
I actually have.
do that. Okay. Maybe that was just my perspective.
Yeah. I can see, but no, what I do see in that, though, is what you're saying about... I definitely compartmentalize it, but you pointed out to me yesterday that what you just said about the cosmic joke, like the ability to step back and see what's happening, and then find the humor in it. I never found the humor before. I stepped back and I was like, it was more like aggravation and frustration. Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. And then you were helping me see the cosmic joke of it all. And while it's things that I would like to, help Like, it's not necessarily funny that people are doing this to each other, but it's also like,
On a level, it is kind of
what
funny.
game are they
like,
playing?
What are we doing?
Yeah, why are we playing this game?
It's funny and it's tragic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that in your release, that
Just
was
like the
what
release, yeah.
that was what you experienced. Was like you experienced that in your body, like all the notes, all the every sensation, every well, it's all sensation, but every experience converging.
Oh yeah. Wow, because this was just coming up. It's also like what I'm finding about this podcast is I really feel like the podcast is actually stepping stones of what's happening next in my journey. I was just talking I did an episode with Yvonne a couple episodes ago, and we were talking about the experience of how it's not black and white. Like, you can feel happiness and sadness at the same time.
Yeah.
So when you say that, it's like, oh, convergence of everything is the non-duality, the singularity of feeling it all, experiencing it all.
The thing that you were in.
Cool. It's a lot. Interesting. Like, even when I said that, I was like, it's not really a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, though. Like, to be there and then to come back down and be in the world and remember that feeling and then feel all the humanness and the mind and the separation. That's a lot to be in that and try to integrate what happened in that experience and that feeling and knowing that that is real. Like, it's really possible because it really happened.
Yeah. And now stepping into, can you believe that that is possible when you're not on medicine? Like, actively.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I really want you to believe it. Really, really want you to believe it. Because I really, really want people to believe that, because we all are, like, this is what awakening is. This is that was an awakening. That was an awakening. Do you feel that?
Mm-hmm. It was...
And the reason I want you to remember is so that you can help me if I forget.
Right.
And so that you can go out there and be like, we're doing this thing. And like, then there's this way where it's like, we feel the thing. We like, I need healing because I feel like shit. I feel like shit. I don't want to feel like shit anymore. And we have this baseline of like, okay, at some point you won't feel like shit anymore, but then what? Then you're kind of at like a baseline. But then if you have, this is what's so fucking awesome about these experiences is then we get to go from like, wherever we are in our healing, we get to be like, oh wait, but that is available. It is available.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to experience it. And then the work is believing that that's possible, I think.
You saying that reminded me of what integration is. And it's when you have a experience in my world, mostly on medicine, when you have an experience and you get to see where you can be, and then you integrate that that's possible into your life. So when we look at it, yes, I believe that it's possible to do it without medicine, because I was shown that it's possible.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Yeah.
So yes.
But I think this is something that happens as people start to think like, oh, you can get there on medicine. Mm-hmm. And you don't need it.
I've been having more and more ecstatic, orgasmic experiences energetically over the last few weeks. Mm-hmm. Of just being in it and holding it on day to day, like in the day to day. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you unlocked the religious trauma, which is sexual trauma. And sexual energy is creation energy. Sexual energy is God energy. That, like, being in alignment with our sexual energy is a part. It's like you can't get around that, in my opinion. I haven't seen. That's what I believe. Mm-hmm. I think if that's not integrated and loved and like seen as the sacred, then we that part is like holding. It's like no. So when you unlocked the religious trauma, you're still working on the sexual, just the sexuality piece of that.
Yeah, the energy of that.
But you're touching it. Mm-hmm. You're like, no, like, this is good. Mm-hmm. This is good. This is mine.
It's mine.
This doesn't belong to you. This is not like, and you're aware of like the shame program, stuff mm-hmm. that's still programmed in there. And is it okay that I'm talking about you like this?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm real psyched to see how, because I have this, what I would like for you is to practice actually being in that frequency rather than working on the problem. Mm-hmm. Practice being in the frequency.
That's the shift that happened after I popped out of the religious trauma. The shift happens like I don't have to work on this. I don't have to work on the problem.
It doesn't have to be so hard, and it doesn't have to be so like
now it's
homework.
Now it's like, can I allow this energy to move through me, around me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the work is how, like, my desire in the work is how big can I let it get and still hold it and be grounded in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We talked about that a lot yesterday, mm-hmm. about smallness and making yourself small.
Yeah.
That was fun. I love how honest. Well, this medicine is kind of a truth serum. Mm-hmm. So there's just like a way where like, here's my stuff. Here it is. Like, lay it all out on the table. And we're like, okay, let's pick through this. And you see that, right? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is what's happening there. It's so amazing.
So good.
And you're like, but can I really do that? Can I really like be as powerful as I am? Like, can I do that?
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen? Like, they're gonna get pit. Like, it was so interesting to watch you like really like play it out, like in very specific scenarios that you brought to the table. You were like, okay, so this happened, and we were sitting at the dinner table, and I was done with this conversation. I didn't want to be in this conversation. Like, what do I do there? What do I do? That was really fun.
Yeah, we had a good time with that. And I'm announcing that I'm finished with the conversation and I'm leaving.
Yes. Goodbye. I will take my meal outside.
And another example was you were like, did the rest of you notice how the life of this conversation just went out? Am I the only one that noticed this?
Anybody else notice?
Anybody else? Anybody else here feel that moment?
Really, you know, you have a deep intuition, a deep knowing. That was another theme that came up yesterday so much was, it came up around the trauma around that, the circle that you were in that went sideways because it wasn't held well.
Mm-hmm.
How you knew going into it,
Mm-hmm.
and how you basically you exchanged in an unclean way, and you paid a price. You paid a big price, but
yeah, I mean, we talked about that yesterday too, and this is one of this is where like it felt like a bunch of different storylines and timelines like wrapped up yesterday, and that's where this convergence happened. Like when I was
closed a lot of loops.
yeah before I entered that container that we were just talking about, I had massive energetic downloads going. Do this. This is where you're supposed to go. And then I went in and I was like, this is where I'm supposed to go? This is not comfortable at all. I don't like anything that's happening here. And then I kept doing it. I kept doing it. And then this moment happened. And that's when I stopped going after that moment of like when it got really bad. And I felt violated. I felt like I actually violated someone else in a space holding way. And I was trauma. I was really traumatized.
You were traumatized, and
I was traumatized. I was spinning out for 4 days straight. I couldn't get my bearings. I couldn't get grounded. It was so uncomfortable. And then I stopped going. And then suddenly yesterday,
because it was like a class. It was like a recurring.
it wasn't even like a class. It was like
a group.
This is a group that met once a month.
And you stopped going.
Yeah.
After you had this like traumatizing experience where it wasn't held.
Mm-hmm.
And but can I comment on this? Which is,
yeah.
Did you have more?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just wanted to say how it ended, and then like yesterday, my heart cracked open, and I felt all the pain of what I felt in that moment, and the pain of what I possibly caused someone else, and I was just like in the apology of it and the forgiveness of it for me and for the whole situation, and I'm still a little raw in it too. Like, but man, that was a really wild crack. And you were like, that's an initiation. But that's the end of that was the end of the loop. That's why this moment, a year and a half later, or however long it's been since that happened, was why those voices said, go do this.
It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
At some point yesterday, you kept saying, you were like, you could not write this. Nobody could write this. It's so brilliant. It wasn't about that, but it could be about that.
That was part of it. I mean, that's part of it.
It's just like the perfection.
That was particularly about the white horse of truth converging with the horse in my center.
That's the big reveal that they're you.
Yeah. Like, I've been, my higher self, my like most pinnacle higher self has been masquerading as a white horse of truth, among other things. Among like, as well as the voices that were like, go do this heart opening thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, everything that is happening is an opportunity. Every single thing on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Which That's a tough one. That's a tough one to take in on a normal day. But today we can like. I mean, that's a part of like backing up in the container getting bigger. I mean, if your container is big enough, you can hold anything and alchemize it. I can hold we were doing this late night. We went into like the collective, like what's happening in the collective. And I've been working with that in the past 7 or 8 months so much, like so intensely, like letting it work me and watching it and just every single day, like seeing what comes up and like feeling the feelings and playing with it and feeling all the discomfort, and it's expanded me. That practice, I feel. I don't know why I was bringing that exactly, except that when your container is big enough, you can alchemize anything. You can be in like the insane world and not be in it. You're in it, but you're not of it. Is that it? Of it, but not in it?
In it, but not of it.
You're in it, but not of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I see what's happening here.
Yeah.
I see like... And then it's just like such a power position. It's literally why I feel it. I don't think about this consciously, but I think that how important this is right now at this point in like collective evolution of our consciousness is why you and I are like so fiercely in this. Like, why are we so fucking driven to do this work? Like, why is this everything? And to me, it's because there's like a device that's like, beep, 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 like, fucking do this now, because in a couple years, like, it's coming. You were saying it last night. You're like, this shit is about to, like, collapse. Like, whoa, it's going to happen. It is going to happen. And if your container is not big enough to hold the soul journey that is happening, like this, the truth, the deeper truth that is happening here, and you don't have the understanding, like you don't have the capacity to see that, I don't know how you don't lose your fucking mind. And we're seeing people lose their fucking minds. So I really appreciated that. We talked about that a little bit last night. It also is what wore me out. At the end of the night, I was like, I gotta go to bed now. Like, this is good. I like touching on this, the wider thing.
You know what's wild about that for me is I have avoided collective work.
I felt that last night in your sharing.
For so long. And then you know how I was like, after I popped the religious thing, and then what I would spend my time doing shifted from one thing to following this world storyline that's really intense, like nonstop. And then you just said that we were doing collective work. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about that. Because I've never done it. I was always like, what's going on in here? And
you were with the immediate crisis at hand. And then when you're like, okay, I've unlocked this one, it's just still working, but like I have a little more space now. Yeah. Then you can like broaden your scope.
And this makes so much sense. And this is the zooming out that you're talking about, and the being able to see. And
this is the pattern of control. This is how religion is used to occupy. It's a program to install, to distract you from like how you're actually being manipulated, how other powers are actually extracting from you. You're literally like stepping out of it right now. And then you're also what I heard in what you were sharing last night was like you kind of went deep. You're like you just went deep into TikTok. And you're like, oh fuck. Like, I'm like, be careful, Joel. Like, you're kind of new in this world. Like,
Yeah.
just like, I'm like, I'm going to send you some, like,
tiptoe in there.
just follow some spiritual teachers. And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Like,
I
I was like, what is it?
oh my God.
It's everywhere.
And I totally get it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Wow.
I also, another thing that came up in this talking of seeing things and be able and a knowing and seeing what's actually operating and what's going on. I remember like 20 years ago, I had this friend and we were kind of like having some friction, and he said to me once, he just said, "Stop silently judging me." And I was like, am I silently judging him? And like, it was back when I didn't even started my healing journey yet. And I didn't know what was going on. And yeah, I was seeing shit and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what was happening. And yeah, I was like judging people because I was seeing, and I was like, oh, you're totally blah, blah, blah. Like,
Gross.
Yeah. And he was right. He called me. He called me out on it. He said I was silently judging. And like at the time I was like, no, that's not. I was like, fought it. I'm not. But
Yeah.
it just hit me. It's like, oh my God, I was, because I was not holding this. I wasn't holding I didn't know how to use the ability in a healthy, held way.
You denied your power.
I didn't even know what it was a power.
You're like, I don't have the power. What are you talking about?
So smashed, so like condensed with all the indoctrination over the years, and not just from church, but from like media, news, and government, and everything out there that's just like telling you you're small.
But what I think the church does is it's like, this is how it is to be human. You are going to be compressed by forces, and that's the way it is. And they will tell you how to act, and it disconnects you from your actual truth. Mm-hmm. This is not, it's like a training to move you away from actual truth as a foundation. And then all of the other stuff is just like, sure, this is how it works, right? Like, just keep adding it on.
Yeah.
I don't know why that came through, but...
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's definitely the thing that gets to you, especially if you grow up in a religious family. It's the thing that gets to you the fastest. It's the first thing that gets to you it's in a religious family, is the church and the indoctrination of that. Because from the moment you come out, even beforehand, they're probably singing Christian songs to you, religious songs to you when you're like being formed. And then you come out and it's like, this. You're a sinner.
Because it's so close to this thing.
Don't go to hell.
It's like a nutrient. They're like, instead of giving you breast milk, they're giving you like, it's like, it's not, I don't know how to metaphor for that, but like, it's like a thing that you already you're like designed to work with. Like, children are totally in touch with God, and it's evil to take that and twist it and say like it has to come through. And I know I might be pissing people off who are like, you can't say that, but like, just how I see organized religion. It's like, maybe there's some examples that aren't like that, where they don't say you have to go through me to get this. I kind of lose you.
I was trying to think if there was an example
Where that
I was
isn't
like,
true.
I don't think there's an
Okay.
example of an organized religion that says that. There's always something else. That's the point of religion. It's always about something that's outside of you that you have to adhere to or submit to. Ugh.
Yeah, we got into that a little bit last night too.
Yeah.
I really, really felt a couple things that came up for me yesterday. I was feeling the power of the feminine. I mean, it came up when we were talking about religion, and I was articulating why I particularly felt certain religions felt more dangerous to me. And it basically correlates with how much is the suppression of women like key, and which doesn't mean that, I mean, women, the women that are like, I don't know, what came through was like, if the women said no, the women were like, no, like this would just not be happening. None of this would be happening. That's kind of not really attached to anything that we're talking about, but for me that's something that like I felt really deeply yesterday, and it's been coming up for a while for me, just like really feeling like when I came into that knowing personally, like my responsibility to say no, that like changed everything for me. And how I'm like, I don't know, I'm really called to share that. Gotta heal the women. Women gotta heal themselves.
Yeah. You just did a women's group, didn't you? Cool.
Yeah. But I also feel like we really need, it's like women's work, but everybody has to do it. Like, I need to tell you the ways that I've extracted from you. From you meaning like the representative of the masculine. How have I used your used you? And I'm speaking on a like transpersonal level, but also personal, also deep.
There's a lot of work to do there. Across the globe. A lot.
Yeah.
All right. It was an incredible journey with you yesterday.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brought me back into my center, and I love our I don't know, I really feel the power of aligned, just being together, like the amplification of that. It's such a lightning force. Like it's so, and I don't feel like I did not touch you. This is another thing. Like usually in journeys, like I do a lot of hands-on support and work with people, like help them move things. And we did not have any physical contact at all. And it was so cool. Like, you've got that. You've got yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here, like, watching you have yourself. And you're having yourself even more because you know that I'm here watching you, and vice versa. And it's just like,
Yeah.
really, like, more layers of the onion peeled. And I'm real inspired to do more work. I want to do more of this work with you. I feel inspired to hold other people, like, together in this. I think we
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Me too.
bring people
It's
in.
going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be really great. So I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
You will say it when it's time. You will say, it is time. This is what I'd like to do. Would you like to do this with me?
Mm.
And then it'll be on the tablet.
It's like right there.
There might be some things. There might be some things to clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, after I come back from Portland. Cool. Okay. Any other thoughts to close this out?
Thank you, San Pedro.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you to, can I say
Hmm?
thank you to Becca?
Sure.
I just wanted to say thank you to Becca for making the medicine with you.
Thank you to you. Again. So incredible. Thank you to myself. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened. Oh my god. Ah, okay.
Thank you, God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Our integration circle talk is complete. And this was a fun little 1-2 episode. And to all of you out there, I invite you to make a little room for healing in your lives as well. And I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks for making a little room for my podcast. I'd love to be a part of your journey too. Follow me on Instagram at A Little Room for Healing for news, updates, offerings, and connection. To book a session with me, go to www.alittleroomforhealing.com. If you'd like to support the podcast, follow the link at the bottom of the episode description. Have a beautiful day.